We can't take it for granted. We can't be complacent. All the progress that we've made these last 8 years goes out the window if we don't win this election.
Clinton climbs ahead now with 209. The drama continues. We have a new projection. Ohio will go to NBC News projects that Donald Trump is the apparent winner in Florida. A night that will go down in history, a stunning upset as Donald Trump triumphs over Hillary Clinton, elected president of the United States. Tell me what happened that night, watching those results, when you realized that Donald Trump was going to win. Was there an unvarnished Barack Obama at that moment?
You know, there was just surprise. You know, generally speaking, not just me, but my team have been pretty good at seeing something coming. And you know, partly because just the polling was so off and the data was off, there was a surprise. You know, I think the president-elect would be the first to acknowledge he didn't run a conventional campaign. And it's not clear that he or his team thought they were going to win. So I think more than anything, it was just surprise. And there was a sense of disappointment that's inevitable when you've invested a lot of time and energy into somebody who I thought would be a terrific president, Hillary Clinton, into a Democratic Party that I think had the right ideas.
Everybody is sad when their side loses an election. But the day after, we have to remember that we're actually all on one team.
And look, it did speak to a problem that we've saw during the course of my presidency, which was I had trouble transferring my personal popularity or support to the broader cause of the Democratic Party. And I think that's a legitimate criticism. I've thought about some of the things that we could have done.
You were personally wounded by the result.
Yeah, you know, some of what has happened in terms of losses in Congress and the gubernatorial and state levels were just a matter of bad luck. 2010, we were going to lose seats because I was the president in charge when people were terrified about what was happening to their economy, and rightfully so. But that also ended up being a gerrymandering year. That's when the census had happened and the lines were drawn, and so we were going to, it locked in a Republican advantage for a number of years. But some of it is also that despite my organizing background, despite the grassroots nature of my campaigns, it was difficult for me to both do the work of managing an economy and foreign policy and dealing with terrorism and building the grassroots party apparatus that I think ultimately makes democracy work.
It sounds like you'd like a do-over.
Well, no.
Okay.
First of all, my wife would leave me.
We wouldn't want that.
And second of all, I think that every president looks back and says, I wish I could have cloned myself and done 15 other things. You know, you do what you do. You do the best you can. Here's what I can say with great confidence, and I think anybody who worked with me can confirm it, and certainly Michelle and my girls can confirm it. I never got weary. Every day I woke up and I worked really hard.
But hard work didn't stop intense condemnation, especially on foreign policy. With the spiral of war in Syria, the controversial Iran nuclear deal, and Russia's annexation of Crimea, critics accuse him of emboldening Russian President Vladimir Putin and making America weaker around the world. You and I grew up in a country that America was the superpower. We had the biggest military, and there was always the implied threat that if you mess with us, we'll put that military to work. You were elected president on a mandate of, we're tired of war. We've got 2 wars going. We don't want to do it anymore. Putin begins to flex his muscle in Ukraine and Crimea, cyber hacking. Did you give him the space to do that? Did he take a signal from your reluctance, based on what the American public was telling you to engage? Did he take that as an opening and run with it?
No, this is an interpretation that I think is common in Washington, where the thinking is that somehow the only exercise of our power is military, and the mythology that somehow we've been able to do whatever we want around the world in previous years. That's actually not been the case. America is by far the most powerful military. It is by far the most influential country. It is by far the best respected country now. It wasn't when I came into office, but it's not as if Russia today has greater territorial scope or relatively greater power than we do.
However, he says Russia and others pose a growing threat on the new battlefield, cyberspace.
I will tell you that the cyber issue is a different kettle of fish. I think that we are moving into an arena now in which the ability at a fairly low cost for not just state actors like Russia or China, but also non-state actors to penetrate core functions in our society, whether it's infrastructure, our financial systems, government and health records. That is moving faster than our defenses are moving. And this is something that I've been aware of since I started.
Are we outmatched on that level?
No, yeah, we're still, we're pretty good at doing it if we have to, but we abide by certain norms and rules. Our problem is we're more vulnerable because we are more digitalized than other countries are. We have more at stake if we get into a full cyber war. And what is also true is that our the cyber world we occupy is not just government, it's every bank and every store and every business around the country.
Are you going to use email when you leave the White House? knowing what you know?
Yeah, well, you know what? My general rule about email is don't send something that you don't mind being published in the newspapers.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.